What if I told you that while everyone's been debating who's winning the AI race, Google just quietly made $96.4 billion in a single quarter, and it's about to change how we interact with the internet forever. And yes, that's a billion with a B. And today, we're diving deep into Google's Q2 2025 earnings that just dropped. And trust me, this isn't just about numbers, this is about the future of AI and why Google might be playing a completely different game than everyone else thinks. Let's jump in. Before we do, of course, everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I like to break down the biggest tech stories, earnings reports, and of course, business. So if you don't have to go through the boring financial documents by yourself, and honestly, Google's last earnings report might be one of the most fascinating stories of 2025. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Shout out to Claude for this nice, amazing presentation they just did right here. I used Claude to actually help me come up with this so you guys can have a great visualization of what exactly we're talking about. So here's what happened. Google just reported, again, $96.4 billion in revenue for Q2 of 2025. That's a 14% jump year over year. They absolutely crushed Wall Street's expectations, beating earnings per share estimates by over 6%. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about money. This is about Google fundamentally transforming a search company into an AI-first platform, and the results are honestly mind-blowing. Let's take a look at it. Of course, the revenue that they've made this past quarter, and we'll look at it revenue by segment. Google Search and other, of course, that's a significant chunk of their business. That's what made Google Google. But as you can see, we see some other parts of their business really catching up. Google Cloud, 13.6 billion themselves. YouTube ads, this is generating more and more revenue as we kind of discussed. But as you kind of see right here on this side, Google Cloud's growth rate is absolutely exploding. And as you can imagine, with more and more companies needing more cloud usage, companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they're all going to benefit more and more every single year with this individual segment alone, right? And with Google, with all the, let's call it resources that they have, it's no surprise that this is one of their fastest growing markets or segments. Looking at the bottom, look at these numbers, guys. This is absolutely astonishing. Everyone thought that Google was slowly trailing, falling behind. But as we can see, Google's actually taking things to the next step. And I'm excited to see, what exactly they can have if they can continue this momentum in the future. Truthfully, this is one of my favorite stocks. And as you guys can kind of see why, they are doing their thing. They're taking care of business, simply put. And some of the things I want to touch on a little bit as well. Their app store alone quoting $82.5 billion. That's 85% of the total revenue and a 12% increase from last year. But what's really wild, of course, as I touched on already, is the Google search already made $54.2 billion just in that one quarter. So to put that into perspective, that's more than most Fortune 500 companies make an entire year. And to jump back into the Google Cloud, what's really even better outside of them making money, their operating margin in cloud went up from 11% to over 20% in just 1 year. That means they're not just growing fast, but they're becoming very incredibly profitable, all while doing it. But one thing I want to touch on that most people have missed is that YouTube subscription services are now projected to hit over $15 billion a year annually. We're talking about YouTube TV, YouTube Premium, YouTube Music. If you're someone like me who loves football, NFL Sunday Ticket, I actually just purchased it today as well. So I'm excited about that. I'm ready for the season. Falcons fan, as you know it, but let's see what the Falcons can do, man. I'm excited to see what's going on. I'm out here in Houston, Texas now, so I definitely need Sunday Ticket. Just a little plug in there. But let's jump into the AI side of things of Google. They're not just adding AI features to actually building the entire internet experience from the ground up. With over 2 billion AI users, 100 million AI mode users, and 450 million Gemini users, that's 980 trillion monthly tokens. So let me show you exactly what that means. With the AI overview, those AI generated summaries you see at the top of search results now reach 2 billion monthly users across 200 plus countries. That's literally 1 in 4 people on earth is using Google's AI every single month, which is absolutely astonishing. But the real bombshell, of course, is the AI mode. This is Google's most advanced AI search experience, and it already has 100 million monthly users just in the US and India. So think of it like having a conversation with the entire internet. Instead of typing keywords and getting links, you can ask complex questions and get detailed reasoned answers pretty much. So as you guys can see out here, as I'm looking at this chart again, but as you can see, the traditional search market was, of course, all going to Google. This was, pre-ChatGPT days. And as you can see, ChatGPT is actually catching up pretty quickly. So this is where Google actually have to put their foot down and decide what they want to do with their search and AI. Because honestly, Google has all the data for it, as we know. I truly believe, with the great minds they have at Google, they will find a great way to implement AI into their search and essentially keep their market share from companies like Perplexity, ChatGPT, things like that, right? So as we see with the AI search market share, things have actually taken a dramatic shift. Look at ChatGPT. They have a significant share in the market, and it's honestly becoming like an adjective now, right? If people want to search something, they say just GPT it. You know what I mean? And so they used to say just Google it. So things are changing in real time, but I do believe Google is going to be able to start chipping away at that market share that ChatGPT has. As you can see, a big difference, no doubt, right? Some of the different approaches that they have, you can kind of see right here. I'm not really going to go through it. You guys can pause the video and read through that. But there's some competition. Things are changing in the world. I'm excited to see what can kind of come from this as well. I can provide these artifacts for you guys in the show description notes, just so you guys can have it, take a look at it, because it is published through Claude and hosted on their servers as well. And here's one of the last graphics I kind of want to show you guys as well. Some of the things we discussed a little bit already: AI mode, the Gemini ecosystem, and of course Project Mariner. Let's discuss that just a little bit. You know, Google's working with something called, as we discussed, Project Mariner, and AI agents that can actually navigate websites and complete tasks for you. So imagine telling your AI assistant, you know, book me a flight to Tokyo for the next month under $800, and it actually goes with travel sites, compares prices, and makes the booking for you. So we're talking about AI doesn't just search the web, it actually acts on the web at the same time, which is, you know, absolutely kind of absurd to start to think about it. More and more companies start to do that. GPT already has one, Perplexity has one, and it'll make sense that Google has one as well, right? And if you are watching this channel, I'm sure you're familiar with the Gemini ecosystem and of course VO3. So VO3 is very powerful. If you guys don't know about it, just go ahead and take a quick Google search what it does, and it can actually create very cool AI generated videos for you in pretty much in a couple of minutes. So it's actually very powerful stuff. Even some companies like Netflix are starting to use it as well. It obviously is getting the job done one way or another, right? Where Google is really, you know, making a bet that can kind of change everything. They just increased their capital expenditure guidance for 2025 to $85 billion. That's a $10 billion increase from the previous estimate. Just put this in perspective. That's more than the entire GDP of some countries. So where's all this money going? It's going to data centers, AI chips, infrastructure, basically building the backbone of AI-powered internet. They announced a $25 billion investment in US data centers over the next 2 years. But here's what's really crazy about it. Remember that number that we just saw? They're processing 980 trillion tokens per month across all their AI products. That number just doubled in a matter of months, right? $1 trillion per month. It's doubling every few months. No wonder why they need $85 billion in infrastructure investment. The elephant in the room that, you know, everyone's kind of talking about is ChatGPT, Claude, and other AI competitors. And is Google really losing AI race? As you kind of saw in the graphic I shared a little bit earlier, ChatGPT search has 80% of the AI market share, while Google's AI search function is only about 6% on the surface. And that looks pretty bad for Google, right? But the thing is, Google isn't trying to build a separate AI search engine. They already have search locked down for the majority part of our lives. They're rebuilding their existing search engine with AI, and that existing engine handles pretty much 90% of the global searches. So think of it this way: ChatGPT is building a highway, while Google is turning the existing interstate system into a smart highway. Different strategies, of course, but Google starts with 85 billion of searches per day of existing traffic already. So some of the strategies that, you know, that I showed you guys a little bit earlier, GPT is building an AI first search experience from scratch, focusing on conversational interfaces and premium subscriptions, while Google is integrating AI into the existing ecosystem, leveraging their massive infrastructure, and of course advertising model. The real competition is in Google Cloud services, where Google Cloud is growing 32% annually while gaining ground on AWS, Microsoft Azure, things like that, right? And even OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, uses Google Cloud infrastructure for some of their operations, right? So things go hand in hand, but to say all that, you know, where's this stuff kind of heading? Let me kind of paint you a picture of what 2026 might look like. First, the AI agent is going to be everywhere. Google's agent space is their platform for enterprise AI agents that can work together. So imagine a company where AI handles all the customer service, and inventory, schedule meetings, even to write reports, all working together seamlessly. Second, when it comes to Waymo, Google's self-driving car, you know, their division is completing 250,000 rides per week across 4 cities, and they're valued at around $45 to $60 billion. But the autonomous vehicle market could be worth trillions. So if Waymo succeeds, it won't just be a side business, it could be bigger than Google search. Truthfully, I do think Tesla and their robotaxi network has an advantage to Waymo, but that's a different conversation for a different day. I'll probably make a separate video about it as well. But let's move on to the next topic, right? So third, monetization and streams. So they kind of confirmed that ads will be integrated to AI mode search results. This creates an entirely new advertising format where AI can have natural conversations about products and services. But really, I guess you can say excites me the most is, you know, the bigger picture, right? What we're kind of witnessing isn't just a company having a good quarter. This is a transformation of how humans interact with information. And for the past 25 years, we kind of adapted to computers, right? We learned how to type keywords, navigate through websites, and dig through search results. So Google's AI revolution is really flipping that script. Now, computers are more likely adapting to us and how we use them. Instead of learning Google search syntax, we can ask questions in natural language. And it's for someone like me who's not really most tech savvy in terms of knowing how to code, that makes things so much easier. So instead of having to visit multiple websites to research a topic, AI can pretty much take all that information and present it in a conversation. Instead of me manually completing online tasks, AI agents can actually act on this behalf. It's not just about, search. It's more like consultation. The AI understands context, weighs multiple factors, and provides reasoned recommendations. It's in just convenience. It's also a very big fundamental shift in the relationship between humans and technology. Obviously, all this isn't just sunshine and billion-dollar revenues. Google does face some serious challenges. As we do know, the regulatory pressure from the DOJ and the antitrust case could potentially force Google to break up parts of the business. So imagine if they had to sell Chrome or separate their search engine from the other services. So that's one of the big things, right? Secondly, content creator relationships. When AI provides answers directly, people click on fewer websites. So this is creating tension with publishers and content creators who provide the information on the AI summarizations, right? And one of the last things as well, the pace of AI innovation is kind of insane. A breakthrough from OpenAI, Microsoft, or even a startup can change the entire competitive landscape overnight. And that's one of the things as a consumer I'm excited about. For companies like Google, though, obviously something they're not too happy about, right? So they have to keep their foot on the gas. So the biggest takeaway, though, is that, of course, as we know, they're not just riding the AI wave. They're trying to become the ocean with $96.4 billion in quarterly revenue, 2 billion people using their AI features, and of course, $85 billion in infrastructure investments. Google is betting everything that will reshape the internet. The question isn't whether AI will change or how we'll use the internet. It's whether Google's vision of that future will win out over alternatives, OpenAI, Microsoft, and others. Nonetheless, though, with the transformation, will the existing highway approach be the one that wins out instead of building a new highway strategy? What I find most fascinating is that we're living through the transition right now, and the AI features you use today are basically the flip phones of AI. In 5 years, we'll look back at 2025 as a moment that kind of changed everything. But I am curious, to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about Google's AI strategy? Is it the right approach, or are they trying to protect their search monopoly? If you have ever tried AI mode or other AI overviews, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Google's earnings, make sure to subscribe for more tech analysis. I got more videos coming up. Microsoft's AI strategy, Apple's earnings potentially that you guys don't want to miss as well. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.